I'm gonna grab one and take a bite. Mmm. Mmm. Today, I'm gonna show you how to make apple fritters. Oh yeah. First, let's take a pot and fill it with oil, about an inch, inch and a half deep. I'm using vegetable oil, but you could use also canola oil, lard, shortening, peanut oil, or coconut oil. And we wanna heat this to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. 3 apples, I am using Granny Smith apples, but any apple will work. I like a nice tart apple. All right, and then once you peel and core the apples and slice them into little chunks, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some lemon juice, and this is about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, which is about half of a lemon. And I'm just going to pour that on the apples and just stir them around a little bit. Fantastic. And now in a medium bowl, I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. And then with a whisk, we will whisk that together. All right, and now I'm going to add 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Give this a whisk. 1/2 cup of milk. I am using whole milk, but you could use 2%, 1%, and even almond milk if you want. And now I have 1 tablespoon of butter, and I'm just gonna melt this. And then we will pour that in, give it a good mix. We'll take the flour mixture, and then I'm gonna switch to that spoon, and we will stir this up. All right. And now let's add in our apples. And then we will mix this up. I like mine to have a lot of apples in it. So depending on how you want it, you might reduce it to only 2 apples. And now we just take it over to the stovetop and fry these up. Once the oil comes to temp, I'm going to take a big scoop of the batter and pour it in the oil. And then we will take a batter ladle and we'll turn these. You can also use tongs, and we're going to fry them until they get pretty brown. So about like that. Okay, and then we're going to put them on a plate lined with paper towel. And then after it dries a little bit on the paper towel, then put it on a wire rack to cool. And this will prevent it from getting soggy, and it'll stay nice and crispy. And now let's make a simple glaze. I'm just going to take some water, about 1/2 tablespoon at first. I'm going to add some powdered sugar. And then just mix this with a fork, and then add a little bit more water as necessary to get the thickness that you want. And that's about a cup and a half of powdered sugar. A little bit more water. All right, so that is really nice and thick. And you may even go just a little bit more. Ends up being about 2 tablespoons. All right, awesome. Now that we have our glaze, we'll just take the apple fritter and dip it in that glaze. Make sure you have clean hands or use tongs. And then put it back on your wire rack and it will drain. You also could just take a spoon and grab some glaze and then pour it all over the fritter. And there we go. And now once the glaze dries. I'm gonna grab one and take a bite. Let's get that. Awesome.